Shalom. So, Zrat Hashem, as is usually with these videos, I would like to try to now go through the alphabet once again, this time having a little bit of practice with with using this writing thing, so I could write notes on the actual document, and we'll use this setup that we'll see here. Okay. So I don't understand why this is still clicked, but whatever. Okay. Well, nothing we can do about it right now. Okay, so the Aleph is the symbol of learning face to face, together as one. Aleph, numerically, I'll write the name. Aleph, and you could spell it any way you want in English because it's not important. Because English, it's interchangeable. If you want to spell it with an F, you want to spell it with a PH, doesn't really matter. So this is, right, the symbol Aleph. Now, of course, the alphabet is something that cannot be rushed. If you rush, it looks sloppy and messy and ugly, and it requires somebody to really sit and fix, correct, make sure that it's perfect. All right, rough attempt. Anyway, I am going to write it out. I realized I'll type out the thing so it'll be perfect, but for right now, Aleph. Aleph numerically is 1. It is the first symbol. You want to make a little 1. Okay, the sound of the Aleph is silent. That's how you pronounce the Aleph. So whenever there's an Aleph with a shva, just simply the 2 dots, then it is silent, and it sounds like a skip in the word. Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, as this Rav from the YU Beit Midrash. I forgot his. I know his name. I don't know if I asked. He told me this. He heard me praying after, like 11, 12 p.m. or whenever it was, finishing up Shacharit. As the Rav was finishing up, he told me that the sound of the Aleph is actually silent. Okay? And so the symbol of the Aleph, the kids say Aleph Bet, they group together Aleph and Bet, and they say Aleph Bet, Aleph Bina. So Aleph, the word Aleph, Aleph. Learn together as one, face to face. Face to face. That is the symbol of the Aleph. So if I were to build a school, this is how it would be set up. The 2 Yuds, this is a chair, and then another chair. And the kids are sitting across from one another, face to face. And this is the table. The table in between. Like the high school chairs, that the desk is attached to the chair. So here it's 2 chairs that are attached to the table in the middle. So the symbol of the Aleph, the Yud is like the head of a person, the most essential part. If you think about your ID, they take a picture of your head, your face. This is the essential part of the person where you can identify the person. Each person is unique. No one else like you on earth. And so the Yud is like the head of a person. So there's 2 Yuds, there's 2 heads. So even if they're on opposite sides, it's the same Torah that unites them in the middle. And basically, so the sages teach that the Aleph is the highest level of learning. Harav Zamir Cohen Shlita teaches that basically the highest level is face to face. So if you're looking at the upper yud, you know, upper yud, upper yud as a master teacher, and the lower yud as the student, the brilliant, sharp student who wants to understand everything and questions, and the teacher answers, and that's the correct way. The kids are the ones asking. The teachers are the ones teaching. And learning together as one, or if you're viewing the two yuds is the same. So this is two friends learning together as one face to face. And the sages have a saying, as my brother Shlita said, in the name of Bavli, Talmud Bavli, Ta'anit, Masechet Ta'anit. Ta'anit on page Yud Zayin, Amud Aleph. So there is this teaching, O Chavruta, either friendship, either a friend, friendship, or death. O Metutha, or Mavet, or death. Maybe that's where the word Medusa comes from. Interesting. Medusa. Anyway, not for right now. So, or whatever. Again, different things are brought up as information is being given over. So it's all important and valid. So these are two chairs, a table in between, two heads, two different perspectives. As soon as you have two different people, you have two different perspectives, two different views on life and everything. Each person is a unique universe, and it's an amazing thing. You are the hero in your own video game, and the alphabet are the keys, and the Torah is the guide that is scribed with the alphabet. So the alphabet unlocks the entire Torah. Without them, chas v'shalom, it's inaccessible. Without the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the Torah Shebechtav doesn't even exist. The Torah Sheba'al Peh preceded it, it's greater than it, it enables it to exist. And it's the one that is sort of put down in the world, chas v'shalom, or whatever. Not for us, of course, or for anyone watching. So, the sages were so serious about learning together. Learn together as one, face to face. The Torah that begins with a big symbol bet. Rashi writes, so that's the difference. Rashi writes lemod Torah. So the difference between aleph and lemod. Again, I'm writing fast. This is obviously not how neat it is. How neat it is the aleph bet in their true forms as you see in the black. This is just handwritten, of course. I would actually tilt, the more correct way is to have the vav leaning forward as opposed to leaning backward. I'm trying to fix it in my writing. I hope it doesn't slow me down. Or maybe I'll start like this. To find the most efficient way to write. But anyway, the difference between aleph and lemod, that's both translated as learn in English, this is the difference, that aleph is the highest level of learning. Learning lemod you could do by yourself, but aleph you could only do face to face with a person. You need to, with a friend, so master teacher to student, or just simply two friends. The sages say in Ta'anit, two friends who learn together are like two dull knives that when they strike each other, they sharpen each other. So meaning two different perspectives. Hearing them, you get things that you might have never seen. You might have never thought about something that way. And together, and even if you disagree and you share your views, that expands each of your minds because you see all these different ways to think that you would not know to think, or that you would not know that other people think in certain ways, and then to be able to explain things, and then to be able to relate things, and then everything else. So again, there's a lot to say about Aleph, but all I am doing, and we are doing here in this video, is simply going through what the little kids are teaching us about the symbol and staying close to what the kids are teaching us about the symbols, as Agaon Rav Zamir Cohen Shlita brings. Okay, and so the kids say, they group together Aleph and Bet, and they say, learn together as one face to face. the Torah that begins with a big symbol bet. This is the first symbol of the Torah. So if you imagine like a little person, whatever, walking along. You imagine whatever, a little married couple walking along. Is this a lasso? To be able to select. Okay. Nope. Okay. Nope. Okay, whatever it is. I'll just go back to the tool. So if you imagine that people walking, they get to here and you hit the wall. There is no going here. The whole Torah begins with this bet. So if you just imagine that you're walking alongside the inside, you hit the wall, you can't go this way. The only way to go is this way. It's like a closed bracket essentially. So the only way to move is from right to left. So the whole Torah moves from right to left, and of course the anti-Torah religions and whatever, God forbid, this is not truth seekers do not associate with anything. They want the truth. They associate with the truth. It's universal. It's from any background, from any person, any being on earth, person who can. So anyway, the sages say, so why does the Torah begin with a bet? Because it's closed on all sides and it's open to the future. That you cannot go that way. The only way to go is that way, out, right to left. That's how everything moves, the correct flow of spirituality and how your mind works better, more efficiently, how it's naturally built in the universe. God forbid the damaging effects of how just half the world, if not most of the world, is left to right. It changes everything. Just that alone. But that's just a minor thing. So the bet, this is the first symbol that the Torah, the written Torah, is scribed in. Torah, sorry. See, you can't, if the Aleph Bet are ugly, then they're not how it was given at Har Sinai, because Hashem and Moshe scribed it and copied it perfectly. Ketav Ashurit in its true form is the nicest thing. So, Torah Shebichtav. Sorry, so not here, but Ketav is Kaf Bet and Otiot Emet, the 22 symbols of truth. So this is the Torah Shebichtav, the first symbol that begins the Torah Shebichtav, and the sages teach, okay, and the sages teach sorry, the sages teach that basically the bet of Bereshit, in addition to it being actually big, one of the unique features that's found on an authentic scroll is some of the symbols are big. So this is where people get to make the first symbol of the paragraph really big. Anyway, it comes from the Torah. The first symbol is transmitted. It has to be scribed big. But in addition, the sages quote Masechet Sofrim, the Tractate of Scribes, which is basically all the rules in scribing an authentic Torah scroll, which Moshe, before Moshe could even scribe this first symbol of the Torah, Hashem had to tell Moshe all of Masechet Sofrim, all of the rules in preparing and writing an authentic scroll before Moshe could even write on what is Moshe writing? On a rock? Or no, Hashem told him, Masechet Sofrim, that you have to take in kotvin al orot behemat tme'ah, you don't write on the parchment of animals that are impure by the Torah definition. Not that there's something wrong with the animal, but kasher, what is fitting in the eyes of God, that what the parchment should be made of. Again, all of this is the Torah Sheba'al Peh, because Hashem is real, and the proof of that is the Aleph Bet and the entire Torah that's transmitted with the Aleph Bet. The meanings that no humans can come up with anything like this. And everything really is just simply this, plagiarized in a way and not credited. And that's unfortunate, and now we're trying to restore that as well. Right? Finally giving credit where credit is due. So the Bet of Bereshit, Rashi writes that Bet, so this is the letter Bet. I'll write it in English also, I realized. I have to get in the groove of the system, how to best arrange it. But Bet numerically is 2. Visually, the number 2 is even almost a bet, essentially. Anyway, that the bet is 2, and the Rashi writes by the letter Bet, Bina, or as I saw how the Hasidic masters scribe like that. As Rabbi Ari Kaplan would tell on the cover of the Hasidic masters, how they would write a nun and a hey together like that. They would write it like that. So the Bet is Bina, which is from the word Bain, as Rabbi Ari Kaplan Zatzal explains. Hagaon, Harav, Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. Zechet, Tzaddik, Vekadosh Vivracha. Okay, so Rashi writes Bina, which is from the word Bain, between. So Bina is understanding the difference between things, understanding the difference between, as we say in Havdalah, Hamavdil, Bain. So Bain, Kodesh, Lecho. Right? Bain, or between light and Lechoshech, between light and darkness. That Hashem divides between these things. So the Bet Bina, how do we know the difference? What is the difference between what's good and what's not good? What is Tameh, what is pure for right now, what is pure and impure? What is right and what is wrong? How do we know? Because Hashem gave us the Torah. It's in the Torah. We study the Torah. The Torah is the thing that tells us the difference. The Torah that is, everything is lost in translation, and it's only given in the original, the OG Bible, the Organuz Bible. It's given in the original. Everything is lost. We're not even speaking about the same thing, like remotely close, what we're even speaking about. So the Bet, what teaches a person Bina and understanding how to differentiate between things, that is the Torah. Also the Bet of Bereshit, that it's seen maybe visually, that it's like 2 lines that are split. So the split from top, from bottom. But here, it's still connected at a certain point. Excuse me. So basically, Bet is 2 numerically, and there's much to say. So the kids are teaching us, from the first 2 symbols of the Aleph Bet. Learn together as one, face to face, the Torah that begins with a big symbol Bet that teaches a person Bina, understanding how to differentiate between things, and Bina also, how to understand something from another thing, or understand the flip side of something. So for example, if by the end of the Aleph Bet, the whole lesson is that the kids say, Dak, Tlatotai Na'al, Karnav Lo Agadea, the ways of the wicked, that he locks his doors to God. So if the wicked one locks his doors to God, the ways of the wicked is that they lock their doors to God. What is the ways of the righteous? That they open their doors to God. Now, of course, God, in English words shared with other people, Chas v'Shalom, the definition is not at all the same. Hashem, the infinite being, the infinite being. Infinite, nothing finite, nothing physical, no picture. You can draw the pictures you want and claim it's God. It's never God. You're never depicting God. It's an impossibility. So chas v'shalom, we're not speaking at all. Anybody who imagines any of the pagan, Greek, and Roman ideas of what gods are, chas v'shalom, essentially God, the most corrupt individuals on the face of existence, God forbid. That's not at all what we're speaking about. This is so foreign and so wrong and so wrong that it's just very sad. And that's how most people think of God. That this old grumpy, pissed off, grumpy grandpa up in the sky, God forbid. Chas v'shalom, that whole story, and the Aleph Bet deal away with any notions, because what they do is, if they don't threaten our lives, or meaning all the good people of earth, all the people of earth, essentially, for the most part, are good people, but these other people, they come along, and they threaten good people's lives by saying, if you don't believe in my thing, before it was convert or die, I'll actually kill you and your family, I'll make it even worse. Your family before you, God forbid, as they did. All the crusades and pogroms and inquisitions that they have done and the missions that they claim, God forbid, chas v'shalom, it's just about spilling blood. As is the way of Edom, which literally means, from the word Adom, which means red, blood. They're bloodthirsty people, God forbid, in this world. How to stay protected is that we learn Torah. They have no chance to even come close. Hashem, once we're with Hashem, it's never about numbers. It was just Hanukkah to teach us. It's never about numbers. It's never about how many tanks, how many soldiers, how many weapons are raised in whatever direction. It's not about anything stupid like that. It's about when Am Yisrael is one with God, Hashem delivers the enemies of God into the hands of Am Yisrael, into the hands of good people, into the hands of people who stand up to all evil and corruption. And all of these disgusting anti-whatever things, they come only from foreign sources. Someone who examines the Aleph Bet, which is meant for all people, realizes Hashem is amazing and good and real, and not at all this crazy monster God that we are taught by just association of the world, by where we are, because we're still in exile, in this seemingly endless exile. So, Hagaoner Moshe Shapir Zatzal also is to point out from Masechet Sofrim, and there's a whole list of people to thank just for this one teaching. Hagaoner Avraham Kalini Shlita, Kol Mishpachto, Atar Kol Halashon, and then Yeshivat Reishit Yerushalayim. Of course, my parents were able to send me to these places. So the kids from the first two symbols are teaching us, learn together as one face-to-face the Torah that begins with a big symbol bet, and now we know with 4 crowns as well. And there's very special things, obviously, with the 4 crowns. Rashi writes by the symbol kuf, as we'll get to, that the kuf, the tag, the crown, needs to be pointing or slanting at the resh. The kids notice and ask this, why is the crown of the kuf pointing at the resh? See, it's pointing towards the resh. It has to be written left. And this is a AhavaEchad first, that we fix the font. Because people who don't know this, when they make the font, they don't know that the crown of the kuf needs to be pointing towards the resh. And so we fixed it both. So, Bina Bain, so it's the difference between things, and the Torah is the thing that teaches us the difference between all things. And so after we know the first step is to have a good friend in this world, and the sages have a lot of, it's okay, the sages have a lot of sayings about the importance and prayers about the importance of friends in this world. Okay. Good boy. They have the importance of good friends in this world. So again, that saying, O chavruta, o metuta, either a good friend or death. 2 different perspectives. Either your friend could correct for you, or as we also said, that the friend reads the Torah Sheba'al Peh to you because it's only activated by somebody else reading it to you. It's like because especially us who have been born speaking a different language as their mother tongue and then trying to learn biblical Lashon HaKodesh Hebrew, it's just so like 50%, thank God I remember. 50% of what we were trying to say is, or what we're trying to do is focusing on just saying the words right, and then the other 50 maybe just to understand what we even just read and said out loud. But when you have a friend read it to you, he reads it, he's focused on reading it, you're focused on just simply hearing it. Now you hear it fully and you use your mind fully to just hear what is being said. And you read it back to your friend. And again, the friends learn together, they spark new ideas, they sharpen each other. That's how, again, the highest level of learning. That is face-to-face. Aleph. In biblical Hebrew, not modern Hebrew. Modern Hebrew is a completely different story, as like Moshe Shapiro's itself brings. So yeah, maybe I'll write just at the top. Hagaon Harav Aryeh Kaplan Zatzal and Shlita Hashem Yishmereu Lechol Mishpachto. Shalom. Nice. Hagaon Harav Rabbi Zamir Kohen Shlita Hashem Yishmereu V'Hayel Shlita Hashem Yishmereu Lechol Mishpachto. Hagaon Harav Moshe Shapira Rabbi Moshe Shapira Zecher Tzadik Libracha. Shlita Hashem Yishmereu V'Hayel Lechol Mishpachto. Not whatever that, meaning whatever with writing is. Okay. These are the main sages where I pulled information, and also, this I'll include as well. Rabbi Aryeh Shragmin Shlita, the Via, Gaon Harav Hamekubal, Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg. These are the main sages where I pull the alphabet wisdom from, and the correct understanding of the things and explanation. And so, Zrat Hashem, we can move on to now Gimel and Dalet. So this one is called Gimel. Gimel, the source of literally Gamal means a camel. So Gimel has to do with a camel, and Gamal Kamal is literally the source of the word camel in English. The hard Ga and Ka sound. So again, write it out. Gimel. Okay. So Gimel. The kids say, what is the reason that the Gimel sort of, he's literally pointing his hand, extending a helping hand to the Dal. The kids say, because this is the way of the giver. So, sorry, the kids say Gimel Dalet. Dalet is Gimel Dalim. See, I'm still figuring out how to best do this. So, Dalet. So the kids teach that the names of these symbols teach Gimel Dalim. Give to, for right now we'll write, give to the poor. So the give, you are giving the poor person, it's not just with money, it's with wisdom also, somebody who's poor in wisdom. So Gimel is the giver who the ways of the righteous. So either it looks like a person running 2 feet shuffling, or simply the whole thing looks like a little boot. Some would say. But simply now that we know that Aleph Bet are made up of other Aleph Bet, that the symbol Zayin is made up of the symbol Zayin, and here is the upside down Yud, which literally is a Yad. And Yad is numerically 10, and 5 and 5, your two hands, literally putting out his hands to give to the Dal. The Dal is the poor person who receives. The kids say, why is the reason that the leg of the Dal, why is it, first of all, it has to be slanting down to the right, slightly slanting towards the Gimel, right? Okay? And some say, again, Rashi writes, why is it on this side as opposed to it being on this side? Okay, and so the kids say, because it's up to the poor person to make himself known to the giver, to make known of himself to the giver. Because if the poor person is hiding away somewhere, the giver can never reach him. So if somebody lacks information, the giver can't reach him. Again, that's the benefit of why we live today with the internet, that a lot of information could reach you. I mean, obviously you want to make sure it's the right one. Because today, any information is on the internet. Not everything is right. You have to know. But anyway, here is so the dal is the poor person. Dal literally means a delit. So the bet literally means a bite. So the sages also teach. It's like someone leaving his family. And at home, you're one inside the house. So once you leave the house, the gimel, the giver, goes to the dal, to the delit, literally the door, where the poor person is standing by the door, and the giver gives to him. But obviously that's not even the highest method of giving tzedakah. The kids say then, why is the dalit's face? So either if they mean this part, or whatever, why is it turned away from the gimel? Why is the face turned away from the gimel? Because in order for the giver to give discreetly, because how could you not be embarrassed? Or or in order to not be embarrassed from the in order to not be embarrassed to have to receive, because God forbid should anyone be in that situation. Zrat Hashem, to come up with clever ways to enable people to make a living doing something that they can and that they like and could enjoy. Zrat Hashem. Okay. So the kids then teach one just to point out in AhavaEchad first is that we've discovered that basically perfecting the gimel, if you want a perfect gimel, look at this shape that you get in here. You see that it's like a pyramid. It's a white pyramid, a triangle, because gimel numerically is 3. And the secret of the gimel is that it forms this white triangle when it's scribed perfectly and correctly. So that is an AhavaEchad first there, to discover that and to perfect it in the font itself. Okay, and so the kids are teaching the highest level of giving charity, where the giver has no idea who he's giving to, the receiver has no idea who they're getting from. This is the highest level of charity, where no one is embarrassed. Everybody's dignity is preserved. No one knows who's poor, who's rich, who's giving, who's not giving. And that's the highest level. So it's usually done through a third party, as Rav Zamir Cohen Shlita explains. So the Gimel numerically 3, done through a third party, meaning in order for the people to not actually meet, to give one to the other, and you would know, or unless both people are looking down, and let's say the poor person has no idea who's in this house or where he is, he's just looking down. I think the ways of the sages were that they would always look down for sort of amot, which is whatever we'll translate for right now, like feet, meters, for whatever in front of them. Only just focused on just what's in front of them, not looking around to disturb other people, to make other people uncomfortable or anything. Like really just living in their own world in a way, not and just doing what they need to do in the world. So maybe they would not even know if a poor person walks up to somebody. If everybody's doing this method, nobody's really looking at anybody, but you can maybe understand the situation, hear the words that are being said, or whatever. It's just another thought. So Gimel Dalet is this concept of giving to the people who need, and that's why giving what they lack, and that's why this is the root of the word Haggadah. Haggadah is the word Gimel Dalet, because the essence of the Haggadah is the giving to the next generation the information that they need, especially the end where we learn all about the Aleph Bet. Every song is based on the Aleph Bet. Echad mi yodea, Shtayim, we're learning what the Aleph Bet are depicting and representing. It's an amazing thing. So the Haggadah is filling in, giving people information that they lack. As Hashem said to Adam, Mi higid lecha, who gave you this information that you would not otherwise have? Who told you? Who, like a tell in poker gives information. I mean, you don't want that. Whatever, it gives off information. The whole point is to tell is giving information the other person would otherwise not have. That's the definition of Haggadah, as opposed to all the other words of speaking. Haggadah means giving over secret information someone would not have otherwise. So be no doubt. And just to continue the shapes, if you want some visual pointing out that if you're viewing the Yud, because the Yud is the smallest symbol, that it's like a coin, so the Gimel has this Yud, and when the Gimel is given to the Dalet, it becomes a Hey. So you can clearly see that, it's the Dalet receives the Yud, and the Dalet becomes a Hey. Okay, so the kids taught us the first 4 symbols of the Aleph Bet, and now we're moving on to the 5th and 6th symbol, Hey and Vav. The kids say, so this is the symbol, and wow. So Hey and Vav, how it's pronounced by most people right now. So you could write Vav in the meantime, but it is pronounced wow, like the Yemenites, who have a very strong tradition of preserving how the sound. Each symbol is supposed to sound different. Each nikud is supposed to sound different. Each ta'am serves a different function. Basically, everything's unique. There's no such thing as 2 things are the same. There's a thing that's perfectly identical. Except you hope the Aleph Bet that are copied perfectly, exactly as they are scribed on an authentic Torah scroll. So Hey numerically is 5, and Hagaon Rav Aryeh Kaplan Zatzal has an amazing thing. Hey, first of all, if you look at your left palm, it's literally the letter Hey. If you want to use that the Yud is even your thumb, so you have your thumb. Okay, so Hey numerically is 5, and you have 5 fingers. Looking at the Hey is really in the palm of the hand. Okay, so Hey would be the structure like that, kind of in your palm. If you press down on a glass that's steamed, you could actually see the imprint of the Hey, when you pull away. But here, I'm just highlighting and circling the parts that basically 5 fingers, looking closer at the Hey, it's really made up of 14. A Yud is numerically 10 using the number chart. This whole thing is arranged as a number chart. So Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel, right? Hey is 5. And so the Yud is the tens column. So it's under the Aleph. So this begins the tens column. Yud is 10, Kaf is 20, Lamed 30, Men is 40, Nun is 50, Samech 60, Ayin 70, Pei Zed 79. Right. So looking closer at the Hey is really another unique feature that's lost in translation, is that the Aleph Bet themselves are made up of other Aleph Bets. Something completely lost in translation, doesn't even exist. And so, again, everything is lost in translation. Hagaon Moshe, based on the teachings of Hagaon Moshe Shapiro Zatzal, confirming this idea, this fact. So basically, Looking closer at the 5, hey, which is 5, we're really revealing 14. Looking closer at your 5 fingers, you notice that they have exactly 14 segments. Some would argue that there's 3 here, but most people, I guess I would answer, would have 2 segments on the thumb and 3 on every other finger, and that brings you to a total of 14. So 5 looking closer, but really 14. And how do you say hand? How do you say hand in Lashon HaKodesh? Yad, exactly Yud and Dalet. It's exactly how you write hand in Lashon HaKodesh. The amount of bones that are in your fingers, and the palm of the hand is called the kaf. When you cup your hand, literally the symbol kaf right here. This is the palm of the hand. Okay, so the kaf hayad. So whenever we say yad, we're really referring to the 5 fingers made of 14 segments. And the kaf is with the palm where you could cup it. Literally, the kaf is a cup on its side that you could see if you draw a cup in the simplest way. There you go. It's a kaf. It's a cup. Literally, kaf, you put a dagesh in the pei. It's written like this. It would be pronounced kaf. But if you write it like this, you not write it like this. It's the same thing, but you add even the tiniest change. You add the dagesh in the pei. Now you have the word cup, literally cup. So when you cup your hand, so the hey is referring to the 5 fingers and the 14 segments, and so that's how you say hand. And what is the universal symbol for stop or enough? It's exactly holding up a hand. Stop. Because that word is, what is the hand communicating? It's communicating die. Die means enough, and that's the source of the English word, enough. Enough life. Enough life here, because there's the whole other world that is commencing. We're born from a mother that we're first in the womb and into this world to teach us that this is exactly how it works in this world, that you're going to be born into the world to come, B'ezrat Hashem. But without any scary talk, God forbid, there shouldn't be anything scary. And again, all these people scaring people with the end of days and all these prophecies, they have no idea what they're talking about, how prophecy works, what Hashem really wants, how Hashem runs the world, what Hashem is capable of. God forbid to hear these other people. It's supposed to be the greatest, most beautiful ending, transition, whatever you want to say. All people, B'ezrat Hashem, coming back to the Aleph-Bet, learning this wisdom, and societies being built upon Hashem's godly wisdom, and giving credit where credit is due, and enjoying the world correctly, and being healthy, happy, safe, them, their families, everything, all the good things. That's what Harav Zamir Kohen Shlita is trying to make sure that people are aware. It's not at all, again, this monster, horrible story of what the church teaches, what is salvation, how does the end of days look like, and this, who is Messiah, and all these concepts. God forbid. Truth seekers are not offended because they want the truth. It's not even about offensive or not. It's not even a truth seeker's mindset at all. A truth seeker is, oh my gosh, I want to learn the truth, uncovering a true thing finally, or being taught or shown. So anyway, the hand communicates die, enough. That's why the universal symbol for stop is hey. But anyway, hey is 5, and the kids in the Haggadah teach us who knows 5. Hamisha ani yodeh. Hamisha chomshei Torah. 5 are the fifths of Torah. And Vav is 6 numerically, and we say Shisha mi yodeh. Who knows 6? I know 6. Shisha sidrei Mishnah. So Hashem is Chomshei Torah, which this is the Torah Shebichtav, so the Hey, and this is the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the Mishnah. The Mishnah has the word Moshe. It's significant to note that. That's why I tried to draw it with that. And Moshe is the symbol Nun, the humble, bent servant. See here, that the Nun looks like a servant bent on his knees before the Melech, before the king. as Otiot Rabbi Akiva points out. So Moshe is like the humble servant on his knees before the king. But of course, Hashem doesn't ask us to be on our knees, or we don't do that anymore. That's why the sages call it the Amidah. We stand straight. As Rabbi Tovia Singer Shlita points out how strange it is. Normally, every other religion on earth, when they say God's name, that's when they bow. We stand up straight when we say Hashem's name. It's a very interesting thing. I still have to think more about it myself, what all these things. But anyway, the kids say, Hein Vav, this is the name of Hashem. Zeh Shmo Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This right here is the name of Hashem. The sages say that the entire Torah is names of God. And also, what is a name? Rav Zamir Cohen Shlita teaches that the word Shem, you see, the word Shem could be written like this, with these vowels, Shem, or the same word, the same symbols with different vowels could be read Sham. So Shem means name. Sham is there, over there. And Rav Zamir Cohen Shlita says in the name of the Baal HaTurim, okay, that the Shem, the name, Mar'eh Masham, that why are these words, why do these words share the same symbols? This is to show a link in information, and these links are lost in translation. Links are lost in translation. Okay, that the name, the Shem shows you what is Sham. The name Mar'eh Masham. Shem Mar'eh Masham. The name of something shows you what is there. So the example I give is like of a spice cabinet, where you have, it's a wooden cabinet, you can't see through it, so you would put a label on the outside of the cabinet or whatever. Don't put it on to ruin the wood or whatever, but I'm just saying whatever for the example. You put a label on the outside, and it would show you what is there. So you don't even need to open the closet. You already know what's behind there. So the name tells you what's there. That's why really, whenever you're learning Torah, and you get this, you get a list of names, or you get a random name, and you're like, great, I don't know anything about this person. Really, now you understand that the Shem Mar'eh Masham, that the name shows you what is there, that the name tells you everything you need to know about that thing. And also, so important to pay attention to the name of the sages that are the ones giving over certain people. The names of the sages are very significant. The whole Torah, every word is very significant. It's all prophetic words that were all transmitted and then later written down to ensure that they would never be forgotten. But even still, as they're written down, they still need to be explained and need the Torah Sheba'al Peh from someone who has received, 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 all the way back to Moshe Rabbeinu, who has received all the Torah on Har Sinai. And that is, again, that is the Hey and the Vav, the Torah and the Mishnah, which give birth to the Talmud, or the Talmud is the union of the Torah and Mishnah and Midrashim. The Talmud is really it quotes and from all different parts of the Torah, meaning the Torah is this massive amount of information, this light, this tremendous light. We wish that we could just download it all, but it takes years to learn until you get the tools, or hopefully it won't take years. Once you really get the tools in Aleph Bet, Hashem will make everything fly by, because really all information is here, is built in here, as I just heard confirmed during Hagaon Rav Moshe Shapir's Tzal Yurtzeit by Rav Abraham Beruda Shlita Hashem Shmei V'Chaya, from saying that name correctly. Hashem, I need to rewatch that whole thing myself, but basically that's what is being said. So Hashem, the Torah, this 5 and 6, and then the Talmud, which unites the two, because it says, how do we know this rule? Because it says so in this verse, or what is the meaning of this verse? And here's the explanation here, because there are two halves of one thing. Without one, there is no other, that there are two halves of one thing. The written Torah and the spoken Torah. The spoken Torah is much greater than the written Torah, meaning not it's better, like whatever. It means that it's greater, more massive, more, so much more words and information. Because the Torah Shebechtav, as the sages count in the Talmud, that they say is 5,888 verses. Our count is a little bit different. For some reason, it's those who know about it, it's very distressing in a way. Not the fact that the information is not lost, because when we look at all the authentic Torah scrolls, it's the same words. It's just the breaking up of the verses changes. So we're 40 verses off. I can't even imagine how many off the other ones are. But anyway, so this is all in Bavli Kiddushin Daf Lamed. Okay. So the 5/5 of the Torah of Vav is Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. Together, this is the Torah and the Mishnah. This is the names of Hashem. What does it mean when Hashem says, I am with you? Literally, my word is a help to you. My words are here helping you. The wisdom of the Torah that is built into that this wisdom is something that people would have to go to college and whatever, if they would even ever, which they wouldn't, they would never get half of what's even going on here, but not to put them down, but just to highlight how important it is that all people and kids start here, because it teaches you the basics of everything that you need to know. The importance of getting along and having a good friend in the world and studying wisdom to be able to tell the difference between things and to analyze and to study and finally be able to just simply understand what is Hashem saying, because every word that Hashem chooses is a unique word, and in English so many words get translated as the same thing, and just the Aleph Bet are pictures, these divine symbols. This wisdom is just not existent in English. Also, everything in Lashon HaKodesh is male or female, and this concept doesn't exist in English, which is one of the most spoken languages, and the reason for this mass amount of confusion in the world as to which things are masculine and which things are feminine. So the kids say, Hey and Vav, this is the name of God. The simple meaning, which probably I should have said first, the simple meaning is that literally that Hey and Vav together is one of the names of Hashem. That is, we say it on Sukkot. So basically, Hey and Vav, Rashi writes, is the name of Hashem. Is the name of is another name of God, a different configuration. So this is the name of Hashem, and so the kids say, if you do this, and if you do this, meaning Aleph Bet and Gimel Dalet, if you learn together as one, face to face, the Torah that begins with a big symbol Bet with 4 crowns, that teaches a person Binah, understanding how to understand the difference between all of these different things in life, what is good, what is not good, what is ultimately life, what is not life, and everything like that. Gimel Dalet, and you give to the poor, you help those in need, give them what they lack. If it's information, if it's friendship, if it's just hearing somebody out, sometimes it's not you saying a brilliant thing, as the Rebbe, I think, is quoted saying that or something. But you need to listen, and whatever people lack, you fill the void that they have. Gimel Dalet, and then the Hey Vav, then Hashem. Hashem will reward you with what? And that is the following 6 symbols. If you do that, if you do the first 4 symbols of the alphabet, then Hashem is going to Zan, sustain you. Chen, Chet is favor you. Tet, umetiv lecha, and do good for you. Metiv lecha. Yud, and Hashem is going to give you inheritance. Yerusha, inheritance. Kaf is for Keter, and Hashem is going to tie for you a crown. The Kosher lecha Keter. Lamed is, no, I'm going to lean it forward. That's the correct way. Lamed is le'olam haba, for the world, the universe to come. Meaning, if you do the first 4 symbols of the alphabet, then Hashem, this is Hashem, the kids say this is Hashem's name, right? Okay? If you do that, then Hashem is going to zan, which is to sustain you. Now, today you actually understand this so much better from video games, that the zayin literally is zayin is electricity. Just like electricity sustains the virtual world, Hashem will sustain you and keep you alive, give you food and everything, but just keep you generated in this video game. The zan. Hashem is going to sustain you and generate you, and chenotcha is favor you. It's translated as favor, but again, you always have to come back to the original language and understand it in the original, not need to translate it back to anything else. What does chen mean? Chen is finding, when the language uses imna matzati chen beinecha, if I found chen in your eyes, meaning if I found an opening in your eyes, that the chen literally is a petach, it's a doorway that you go through. So literally like an archway or a bridge. If you see bridges, the structure, chetz, that's the structure of the chetz. Sometimes, it would be written like this in some places. So chetz, like that. So anyway, I think Rashi would write it like that. But anyway, it's an archway. You go through, you go under. It's an arch. One of the things that the chetz, it's an open door. Basically, that's what it means, chen. A person who has chen in favor has like an open door into people's hearts and souls. People who we like, who find chen in our eyes, who find favor. Sometimes you don't even know why you like a person, but they have chen, they find favor in your eyes. You want to let them in, you want to be around them. And here Hashem is saying, if you do that, I, Hashem, am going to favor you. How much more so, maybe, will all people. So Hashem will favor you. You'll find chen in Hashem's eyes, the opening, the open door. Umetiv lecha, and Hashem is going to do good for you. And tet is very significant. We know that tet numerically here is finishing the ones column, so here tet numerically is 9. So I'll write out, I didn't even write out the letter. So this is the letter Zayin, sorry. Zayin, this is the letter, if you could say it, Het. It's with a, that's how it would be written, but it's more like a Het, like that, if you could do that. Okay, so Zayin numerically is 7. So the word Savea means satiated, is the same symbols as the word Sheva, is 7, which is the symbol Zayin, which means to sustain. That when a person is sustained, he is savea, he's in a level of being full. I guess this is a new development here. Savea or Sheva. Okay, so Het numerically is 8. Okay, Tet, and this is the symbol Tet. Zayin. Okay, Het is written like this. Het. This is Tet. Tet, which numerically is 9. So Tet is umetiv lecha, 9. And Tet, so basically, the kids say, who knows 9? Tisha mi yodea, Tishani yodea, I know 9. Tisha yarchei leida, 9 are the months of pregnancy. And the Tet, the symbol Tet, in the white space shows exactly a baby in the womb. That it's the outline of a little baby in the womb, surrounded and protected. And Hagaon Rav Moshe Shapir Zatzal and other sages confirm there is no greater good than when a child is in the womb. It's the greatest existence. Everything is taken care. As Bill Hicks also joked around about this. Rest in peace, of course, or whatever he's supposed to say. That, you're a baby in the womb. You're protected, you have shelter, you're warm, you're taken care of, all food and everything. You're just safe, and not only that, but then the perspective that the world doesn't have, that the Hashem transmitted to Moshe what actually goes on, that Hashem sends a malach, an angel, there's a difference between malach and angel, of course, also. But for right now, so Hashem sends a malach and teaches the baby the entire Torah, and this is found in Talmud Bavli Masechet Nida. But it says that the baby learns, the malach teaches the baby the entire Torah, and I think literally every baby on earth. That's why I don't see there's a difference between babies. Here is every baby, every child in the womb on earth, and the child learns the entire Torah, and there's a lantern then that is illuminated over his head, and he could see then from one end of the universe to the next. Basically, Hashem reveals everything to him, and when the baby is born, the angel touches them on the lips, and they forget everything that they learned. Why is the point of that, and everything like that? In short, that it creates an impression. I give an example of like, you push your finger into silly putty or whatever, and you take it out. It starts to close, and you start to forget whatever. But you have to. It leaves an impression, even though the thing itself is not there anymore. It left a mark. It left an impression. That makes it easier than to relearn. And essentially, when you learn Torah, you're relearning everything. And so Tet numerically is 9. Ubar b'mehe imo. Baby in the womb. Safe, protected, everything like that. The Yud is the kids pair them Zayin and Chet, that Hashem is going to sustain you, and Chet v'chenotam, and you'll find favor. And again, this could be also that you'll rise up and become your ultimate self, and you'll get married. Chet is all about marriage. The Chet literally looks like a chuppah. It covers the Chatan and Kala. The right and the left Zayin is almost like a vav because it's rounded here. It has to be scribed rounded. So this is like a vav, and this is the Zayin together. That this is like husband and wife and the chuppah, that they become one. And then after they have a baby, so for after 9 months, the little baby comes out, the little Yud, that they pair the Tet and the Yud, the little baby is born. And so the language used when a child is born, it says, this is something that's very awesome to see. Right? Va te vateled Aisha. Okay. So what Aleph Bet is hiding in the word, in this word, vateled, which means to give birth. Haisha is the woman that she gave birth, right? Which word is used, vateled? Which symbol is hiding here backwards? The symbol Dalet, right? You see the word Dalet is backwards here. Dalet Lamed Tav, right? Dalet Lamed Tav. The word Dalet. Dalet, when a woman gives birth, vateled Haisha, she becomes the symbol Dalet. Why? So the Tet, as we know, the shape of the Tet is like, inside is like a little baby, the upside down Yud, the littlest, smallest letter. So really the Hey has an upside down Yud, and really outside every single Hey is a Tet, essentially. Right? The little baby is protected in the womb. And then after, when the little baby is born healthy, the little Yud leaves the Hey, and the Hey returns and becomes a Dalet. So vateled Haisha, literally that she became the symbol Dalet. So the Yerusha is like the baby, the children maybe are the inheritance that they inherit the fathers. Or Yud Yerusha is Yerushalayim. Bezrat Hashem, everyone will have their portion in and be able to live in Yerushalayim, which will be this most massivest city and be the most stunning, amazing city on earth. God's city, once again, will be restored to its fullest, most beautiful glory, honor. It will be the place, the tourist spot that all the nations of earth will come, and the nations of earth, the sages teach, if only they knew how beneficial the Beit HaMikdash is for the nations of the world, each nation would send their armies to guard Jerusalem and to protect its borders from any attackers. As my father Shlita points out that midrash by the sages teaching. So the Yud Yerusha, inheritance. Yud Yerusha could be money. The little Yud is a coin, as we saw above. Or the kids, as we said, the little baby, that then you'll have children, healthy children, Bezrat Hashem. And Yud Yerusha also is this is the symbol. Okay. This is the. It's okay. We have to go through it. So in the lessons of Agaon Moshe Shapira, there's always these crazy, like, loud noises sometimes. Okay, stop. There's always these crazy loud noises in it, but the Rav would wait, a little bit and go on. It's crazy. Sometimes it would be like exactly what the Rav is speaking about. You would then hear, it's just an amazing thing. All of a sudden the Rav was speaking about, like, at this time, it's known for heavy rain. All of a sudden just starts pouring rain in the background. It's just an amazing thing. Taylor? Good boy, boo-boo. Okay. Okay. So the sages also say that the Yud is the symbol that Hashem created the world to come with. And the world to come is created with the Yud because it's the smallest, and unfortunately the reason, but hopefully maybe that's the motivation or the teaching, that they said that the tzaddikim mu'atina, that there's very few tzaddikim in Olam Haba, Chas v'Shalom, but Bezrat Hashem, when kids and people come back to the Aleph Bet, now we can come back to Hashem on earth for real and everything. What is Hashem on earth? It's the wisdom that is in the Torah, the Aleph Bet, and the shapes and everything. So Yud is Yerusha, so either Yeladim or Olam Haba. Olam Haba. Also Yerusha, of course, where the word Yerushalayim comes from. Okay. So the Yud is all these things. So Olam Haba is from Bavli Menachot on page, I think this is the one, 28b. Okay. So the Yud is Yerusha. Kaf is Keter, like a crown. I guess you would put a crown on your head. The Kaf, again, if you draw a crown in the simplest way. There's a little person. Or the queen. Again, a little crown. Or even, whatever. Caesars had this thing going like this from the back of their head. This thing of branches or something like that. Anyway, Kaf is Keter, which means to, like, surround on three sides. Keter, like it's the crown, it goes on top. The interesting language used is Kosher lecha Keter. Hashem says, I'm going to tie for you a crown, like the tefillin. Kosher lecha Keter. Lamed is leolam haba. Lamed, so meaning if you do that, Hashem's going to then tie for you a crown. Lamed is leolam haba, for the world to come. The Lamed, the Vav is leaning forward, because the Lamed literally is showing, Lamed leaning maybe, but again, the Lamed is showing motion. The Lamed means literally to. You attach this symbol before the word of your destination. So you want to say, I'm going home, ani holech le beiti. I'm going to my house. Le is to. So the ultimate to where we're going is Olam Haba, the world, the universe to come, which is the most beautiful part of existence. As Hagaon Rav Zamir Cohen Shlita teaches, Harazach Shai, Shlita Hashem Shmener V'Chayel, that L'Kol Mishpachto, that basically Olam Haba is the most beautiful part, where you could leave your doors unlocked, your kids could play in the streets at night, you can board international flights, pay on the plane right away, no security lines, no nothing, all because all evil, sickness, death is removed once and for all from all the land, and people are doing the good in the eyes of God, and it's the most beautiful part of existence where we all realize we're one family, and it's a very amazing experience. So this here we reach the midway point of the Aleph Bet, and Mem for middle. The Mem is the middle of the Aleph Bet. It's very significant. Aleph is the first, Mem is the middle, Tav is the last. Spells are mixed, as we'll get to. So I'm just gonna see if it's way too long already. Yeah, 110. Okay, so we stopped in the midway point, and we'll continue from here. Or we could just continue onward. Depends. I think I'll split it and regret this later. But no, I think I need it right now.